Wubbzy's Amazing Adventure is a Flash platforming game released on the Nick Jr. website in 2006. The goal of the game being to make it through all 3 levels and defeat the boss at the end of level 3. The game might seem to have very simple movement mechanics, but can easily be broken to make for one interesting speed game. This video will be covering all of the tricks in the speedrun, from minor tricks to major tricks. So sit down, grab a keyboard, and let me explain how to install the game. First, you're going to want to go to speedrun.com/WAA and go over to the Resources tab. Here, you're going to want to select File version 1.1 and Flash Player 11. If you don't have Windows, you can either use Flash Player 32 for Linux or Mac OS. I would also recommend downloading the Wubbzy's Amazing Adventure Practice Tool by Tribit, as it will help with any of the major tricks in the run. Also, I would recommend joining the Wubbzy speedrunning Discord server, as if you have any issues with anything or need help with tricks, you can ask in here and somebody will help you. To download something, just click on it and then click this download right here. Once you have everything downloaded, you're going to want to extract these 2 zipped files. Just right click, extract all. And then you're just going to want to put everything in the same directory, so just copy this and the Flash player and make sure it's in the same folder. And then you're going to want to drag Wubbzy's Amazing Adventure into Flash Player 11. Alternatively, you can right click the SWF and go into Properties and change the default application to Flash Player. And then you can just double click. When you have opened the game, I would recommend stretching out the window like this, or alternatively maximizing the window and right clicking the Flash player and selecting 100%. This helps with hitboxes for some tricks that will be used later on in the speedrun. Before we start anything, let's have a quick movement guide by Tribit.
So, before I talk about speed storages, there are a couple things to note. The game runs at 33 FPS because of a coding error. There are also stunted landings, which is because of Wubbzy's collision. And sometimes when you land on the ground, it will take another frame to update before Wubbzy can actually start walking on the ground again. Also, the corners of platforms also are very janky. Like, as you just saw, I landed and I lost some speed and had to regain it. Also, some corners going vertically will kill your speed like that, so just be wary. So, speed storages are a trick where Wubbzy can land on the ground and save his speed if he jumps on the first frame that he lands. This is because the platforms update Wubbzy's position to being on the ground on the frame after he's actually on the ground, allowing you to jump before the speed is updated. So another trick to keep in mind with Wubbzy's movement is a glide. Now what this is that you hold your jump all the way through, and this allows you to go further in the direction that Wubbzy's going before you hit the ground. So, for example, if I don't hold the jump button while going off this edge, Wubbzy fell way quicker and he actually lands on this bush. But if I am holding the jump button down, notice how he glides way over this and goes way further to the right. This is just a nice little trick to keep in mind. It's very specific when it comes to usefulness. So the final aspect of Wubbzy's movement that I want to get into are bonks. Now what that is getting hit by either a chickbot or an egg, and what it does is it stuns Wubbzy for about 0.61 seconds, meaning he cannot move left, right, or jump. And he also has invincibility frames for a total of 1.81 seconds. So for example, I can bonk off of that and go straight through this chickbot because I had invincibility frames. Another thing you can do with chickbots when you bonk from them is gain speed. So as you can see, I'm currently storing 8 speed, and yeah, that can be incredibly useful to just save a little bit extra time throughout your run. The final trick that you can do with bonks is actually using them to store speed backwards. So for example, I can do this, and what this does is it loads a section with a different enemy position, allowing me to store 8 speed really far. So that is all the aspects of Wubbzy's movement.
Thank you, Tribit. I'm also going to go back to him to explain the first half of level 1, also known as the hill climb section.
Okay, so right now I am currently in the practice hack. What I would recommend doing is having your info on, your helmet on, and you can keep invincibility off unless you're practicing something specific. Let's start out on level 1, and what you want to do is just start holding right until you get to this slope. Now if you walk up the slope you will lose speed, which is not ideal. So instead what you're going to do is walk right as close up as you can, and then you want to hold jump and land on the top here. Ideally you won't lose speed, and then you can just jump right on down. For this section you want to land on this first platform here. You want to hold jump and just keep holding it so that once you get to here you'll do a glide off of this platform and you won't land twice, which will lose you a potential 2 frames. To get all the way down to this slope, you can jump right over it. If you're more advanced and you're going for like really fast times like we are now, you can jump at these 2 dots, and if I can land it, it will get you 7.2 speed, and you can store that for a bit. And if you're even better, you can do it twice and land like, well, I'll edit in a clip. Yeah, you can store that all the way over to the slide. So for this section, here's where your first normal speed storage will probably be. So you're going to hold, land into this flat section of ground, and then you're going to walk up, and you want to jump on the frame that you land, just like that. And then you're going to come up to this one and you're going to do the exact same thing. And from here you just keep holding right and do simple jumps. Like here, you just want to jump, and make sure you don't land on the slopes, but also want to be careful that you don't do a full jump here, because it is not possible to land it unless you have speed stored from the slope glitch. So instead what you do here is just jump in the pit and jump right out. For this section, what you want to do is come down here, land on this bush, land on the 3rd rung of the ladder, and jump onto the slide from underneath. From here you can just store speed to the swing, and then store speed all the way over to these platforms over here. When you get here, you want to make sure that you do not cut your jumps too tightly, because if you miss a jump, it'll lose you more time than just going a little higher and landing on the platforms. So there's also a way of doing the slide with 12 speed, and I'll throw a clip of that up right now. So what you want to do is start out the same as normal, but you want to jump as soon as Wubbzy hits the flat part of the slide. From here you can continue the trick as normal. Alright, that is the slide and hill climb sections.
So you're just going to keep on walking until you jump over this egg here. You can go under it, but there's a small chance that you might get hit by it. And then you're going to want to jump in between those 2 eggs, which can be a little bit difficult at first, but it's very easy to get to understand. Going down this hill with the falling eggs has 2 strats actually. The faster one utilizing slope speed, and the other one just utilizing a glide jump. Again, if you're a beginner, I would strongly advise against doing the slope glitch. But to do the slope glitch, you're going to want to line up this left moving egg to the border, do a full jump, and then land right at the corner of the slope, and then do a 2nd frame jump. You can also do another slope glitch at the bottom of this hill and get up to 7.4 speed, but I did a 1st framer. For the regular method, just do a double tap space to do a glide, and then do a 1st framer on the hill to avoid any of the eggs. Keep moving right and make sure you jump onto the clouds. But right here is where I have to mention helmet RNG. In every stage there's 3 helmets that spawn in one of 3 spots. The 3rd helmet, however, is the most optimal for all 3 stages, meaning there is a 1 in 3 chance in each stage that you'll get the right helmet. Not getting the helmet isn't a deal breaker at all, especially if you aren't a top player. But it's important to note, as there's different routes that are harder if you don't get the right helmet. Anyways, back to level 1. If you got any helmet besides the 1st helmet, you're going to want to jump right at the edge of this cloud to avoid being hit by the eggs below. Jump up this hill and walk down. I'm going to speed this up because this is very basic movement. Now here's one of the hardest parts of this level. What you do here is going to depend on what helmet you got. If you got 3rd helmet, jump on the first 2 swings. Land on the bush and jump on the first cloud. Jump on the lower bush and then jump on the higher purple one. If you got any other helmet, repeat the same swings but do a full jump on this specific part of the cloud. This will set you up for a jump over the eggs. If you lose a frame of speed, you can repeat the same thing on the cloud and jump on the edge of this platform and it will despawn the free eggs. Outside of this though, that's the end of level 1 and I will pass it to Tribit to explain the first part of level 2.
So, level 2 has the most tricks out of the entire game, so let's dive right into it. Doing the start normally here, just jump onto that bottom shelf, land on the screw, full jump, come down here and do 2 jumps, kind of like you do at hill climb. Now if you're more advanced, what you would do is start out the same, but speed storage off the front of the screw, and bonk the egg and land up here, and that'll save you approximately 0.15. So from this point, you want to just keep holding right and you will come across early cycle, which looks something like that. Now that was incredibly slow, but it still worked. So the way early cycle works is you want to jump off of this 4th dot right here, and you want to land as far forward as you can on this platform without losing speed from the corner. And usually when you land here, you can get away with walking a frame or 2 and you'll be okay. Then what you want to do is jump up onto this platform, which will be coming downwards, and you want to speed storage off of it, and you will land up here. So the ideal way of what I just described looks like this. There, and that is early cycle. It saves around about 4 seconds over missing it, and now I will pass it over to Evasion to explain fan skip.
So there's 3 ways of doing fan skip, so I will be describing all of them from easiest to hardest or least to most time saved. Starting off with just not doing fan skip at all is probably the easiest and recommended for beginners. To do this, just do 2 jumps on the first conveyor and then a first framer off the second one, which should land you on the top of the bottom moving conveyor in the air, where you can just jump off into the fan and float up. For poverty fan skip, which is what most top players do in runs, do the same, but when you land on the bottom conveyor, jump off to the left side of the top conveyor and do 2 jumps and you can skip the fan. For the turnaround strat, do a jump where you tap left and right before landing as far left on the first conveyor as you can. Do 3 jumps and then jump off the second conveyor where you want to jump on the left side of the bottom conveyor in the air, and then first frame jump on the right edge of the second one. This is possibly faster than the next fan skip I'm about to show you, but it depends on how slow the turnaround is and how much speed you get from the 3 jumps on the first conveyor. For regular fan skip, do the same first 2 conveyors as the first 2 clips I showed you earlier, but when you land on the bottom conveyor, you have to do a second frame jump on the far left side of the bottom conveyor, and then a first frame jump on the right side of the second conveyor. While it is strongly not recommended for beginners, and in fact only 1 person has done the strat RTA, Tribit will be explaining how to skip this moving platform, also known as platform skip.
Platform skip is the most difficult trick in the entire run. Now, it goes hand in hand with fan skip, but if you're a beginner, I would not recommend learning this until you've learned all the other tricks. If you're more advanced, you can go ahead and start learning this trick and you might eventually get it. Now with that being said, you can imagine platform skip as a 2x2 grid, where you can get it with a speed storage after, without a speed storage after, or you can get it with a normal or turnaround fan skip and poverty fan skip. And the only version of this that's been done by a human so far is with poverty fan skip and without speed storage afterwards. And this is the only realistic version that you will see in any runs probably, but I will show you the fastest version that the task does as well. With that being said, let me show you. To do the slowest version of this trick, what you want to do is start off by doing poverty fan skip as normal. You want to land somewhere around the first or second dot here. Then you want to jump and land right in front of this slope, and then you want to jump over both of the slopes and land somewhere around the corner or the flat ground on this one. Then you can do 2 smaller jumps, and as you're landing from that second smaller jump, you should be right around the third or second dot. From here, what you want to do is walk for 1 frame and then jump. This will allow you to not bonk on the top left corner of this platform as you're coming up from the fan. Now, as you're reaching the apex of this jump, you want to hold space to glide to get a little extra further to the right. And as you're landing from the right, you want to let go just before you hit the ground and then do a speed storage or walk for 1 frame. Either one will allow you to perform the trick. And then you want to speed storage off of this platform moving downwards, and that'll allow you to get over. Now for the fast version of platform skip, what you want to do is start off by doing fan skip as normal, and then you want to land right above this first dot here, and you want to jump and land either on this slope or right before the slope. Do a jump and land somewhere on this third or second dot right here. Do another jump and then let go and glide. And then as you land on the ground, you want to walk for either 1 or 2 frames and then jump. And then once you reach the apex, glide like you do in the other version. And then speed storage off of this and speed storage off of the platform again. And you may or may not bonk the top left corner here, but if you don't, you will have successfully done the fast version of platform skip. So that is platform skip explained. I will hand it back to Evasion.
Dangr strat utilizes speed from moving platforms to save around half a second over the regular way of skipping past this egg section. Doing it at the beginner is not necessary, but it does only lose around half a second if you miss it, but I would recommend messing around with it if you want to. But for beginners, I would recommend avoiding it by doing this instead. Walk off onto the lower section, avoiding the moving platform, and then jump off the right side of the falling egg to avoid it, and then hug the right wall of these stairs for a small bit, and then jump onto the first stair. Again, this only loses half a second over doing Dangr strat, so I would recommend it for beginner runners. To do Dangr strat, wait for the side moving platform to reach you, then walk on the left side of it. Walk off of it when it starts moving and do a tap jump, followed by a full jump and then another tap jump. Once you have reached the wall, do a jump onto the first step. Keep walking and jump over each of these chickbots. From this ledge, jump into the middle in between both chickbots and jump to the other ledge. Also, jump in the middle between these 4 chickbots and then jump off this ledge and jump off the slope. Now it's time to get into FPSS, which is short for floating platform speed storage. This trick isn't necessary for beginners, but as you get better I would highly recommend implementing it. It saves around 6 seconds if you get cycle skip, which will be mentioned later, and around 3 if you don't. This strategy has 4 variants, one of them being for setting up the moving platform, and the other being whether or not you jump on the top of these gears or under them. Firstly, if you want to skip doing FPSS, jump over this moving platform, then jump over these 2 chickbots while walking under the third one and then jump up. Jump on every one of these pegs to avoid hitting any of the chickbots. Jump in between these 2 chickbots and then jump up. To do the back boost method of the FPSS setup, do a full jump on the slope and hit this chickbot. Walk down the hill and you're perfectly set up. To do the normal setup, do the same as before, except do another jump instead of walking into the chickbot. Land in between the second and third dot and start moving when the platform has stopped. For top route, do 2 jumps off the forward moving platform and a first framer on the second one. Do a jump and land on the first peg and jump to the third one. Do another 2 jumps and first frame off the screw. For bottom route, do the same as before, but do a full jump all the way to the second peg and then jump up onto the main platform. Jump down and jump over the 2 chickbots and jump up. Cycle skip is a way to jump over the screw section that you would normally need to do if you didn't have any speed. To do this, jump on the right side of the first moving up screw. You cannot do a first framer on this or else you will not get any height. Then jump off of the middle screw. If you chose not to do FPSS or you lost your speed, do this. Jump on around the first dot on the ledge and start moving when or even a little bit before the first screw reaches the top. Jump up on the second screw and jump before it stops moving up to get a boost. And you should land on the fourth screw where you can easily walk off. This is referred to as 0 cycle. If for whatever reason you land in between the fourth and fifth screw, just walk back on the fourth and jump off. This is referred to as 1 cycle. Conveyors is probably the most important part of this level. It is very easy to understand but pretty hard to get down. If you got third helmet, jump up to the top gear and then jump from that gear to the bottom gear. Jump on the first conveyor, frame perfect jump on this back moving conveyor, and do 2 jumps on this final forward moving conveyor. Jump for this area while being careful to not land on any of these conveyors or the big moving gear, and jump below the gears and clear through this area and then jump off these stairs to the conveyor. If you didn't get third helmet, do the same while being extra careful to not hit any chickbots. Then jump off of the right edge of this platform and jump off this big screw. Then jump off the small screw and fall in between the conveyor and the big screw. If you lost speed at some point during the conveyors, there's a backup strat called gecko strat, which is done by jumping off this bottom conveyor onto this forward moving slanted conveyor and then walking down for a bit, followed by a jump on the top forward moving conveyor and a full jump off the highest part of the back moving slanted conveyor. For the ending of level 2, walk down these conveyors and jump in front of the first small chickbot. Jump over to in front of the other small chickbot, tap left and right to allow enough time for the big chickbot to jump so you can walk under it. Jump over these 3 chickbots and jump on the chickbot on the slope to go to 8 speed and carry this to the end of level 2. Now to mention task ending. Task ending is another hard trick not recommended for beginners that takes place at the end of level 2. There's 2 variations of this trick. One with helmet, which is very easy, but you have to carry all your speed from conveyors perfectly on top of getting a good RNG. And then there is the non-helmet version, which utilizes specific spots for jumping to avoid hitting the last chickbot. For the helmet version, just jump through, but make sure when you jump off of the slope to land right after it and not on it. Jump from the first platform to the third one, onto the fourth, and then jump on the far right side of the screw off of it, and you'll land on the platform at the end of level 2. For the non-helmet version, tap left and right on the bottom conveyor close to the edge of it. When you jump off, make sure you jump close to the wall. Jump in from the first small chickbot, then jump as close as you can to the right side of the second small chickbot and then full jump. Then continue with the same ending as the helmet version of this trick. That is the end of level 2. I will now continue on to level 3, which luckily has less hard strats involved. The start of level 3 is pretty simple. Just walk up these stairs, and you can either skip this floorboard by just jumping at the end of this floor and landing on the other one, or just jump on the slope like any other normal slope. From here, just make sure you don't jump on the podiums. Boost off of this chickbot and then store speed long enough to make sure you can jump off of this first chickbot. If you miss the boost from the first chickbot or lose your speed, jump up to the top of this podium and boost off of the second chickbot. Now to make it past this chickbot, which I'll be referring to as impossible chickbot, you can just back boost off of it, which is the easiest but the slowest. You can do the strat, which is called impossible chickbot, where you just walk up the slope and jump over the chickbot when it stops moving. I would recommend this the most for beginners. You can do Jake strat, which utilizes a left and right tap to just barely make it past the chickbot while it's still moving. There's also a method called possible chickbot where you store perfect speed and make it past the chickbot, but I personally think the strat is obsolete when you can do backward strat instead. What is backward strat? It is a variation of possible chickbot that is way easier due to utilizing the way sections of the game load slower when Wubbzy is moving backwards. To do backward strat, do the same boost on the first chickbot, but on the other one make sure you're in front of it and tap left before getting hit by it. Make sure you're not holding left or right while doing speed storages. Be sure to not full jump until you have passed this moving egg. You can actually stop moving around here and still make it up, which makes this trick very lenient. Jump off the edge of this podium onto the top of these moving eggs. Jump onto the second step and do 2 small jumps to get up. If you miss the egg, you can just get boosted by the moving chickbot and do the same thing. For papers, jump from the first paper off the edge of the last paper. Land under the chickbot and walk just enough to be able to jump without hitting it. I would recommend this the most for beginners. The faster method is to jump on all 3 papers in the first frame off the last one. The fastest method would be to do the paper jumps from the last method, but doing one single jump from under the chickbot to the first step. Bone jump is one of the most important tricks in the whole game. Depending on how well you do it, it could save a few seconds up to saving over 10 seconds. It is way easier but still somewhat hard if you get third helmet. And still possible, just way harder without the good helmet. With the good helmet, climb up this dinosaur and boost off the corner of the bone, and then the corner of the last bone. If you didn't get a boost off the first bone, do the same thing off the second or third bone, and get the rest of the speed off the middle or end of the swinging bone. I don't really have much to say here besides good luck, because it's just a bunch of frame perfect jumps. For helmetless, full jump on the edge of this first platform, full jump, tap jump, do another full jump to skip past the eggs. Full jump on the edge of this platform, do a full jump, then 2 tap jumps, then a full jump. And that's it. I don't know why I just wrote that's it in the script. That is not it though, because I'm going to pass it to Tribit to explain the kill. We're almost there. Come on.
The boss kill is one of the most important parts of your run. Now, it can be done a few ways. You can do it without speed, you can do it with 8 speed, and you can do it with 13 speed, and all of these methods can be done with a bonk or without a bonk. So before I actually show you these methods, it's important to note that the enemies that the boss fires at the end actually follow the player. So yeah, just keep that in mind. When you actually kill the boss, you want to make sure to jump as the boss is jumping so that you can get enough height to land on its head and actually kill it. However, if you accidentally mess up and you get the boss into a position like this, what you want to do is try your best to hold jump when the wing is moving upwards, and you will land on the boss's head and kill it. If you want to kill with no speed and a bonk, what you do is just hold right at the end and do a medium-sized jump right around here, then hit this chickbot, land on this platform, and then you should just be able to go straight up, grab the helmet, and kill the boss. If you want to do a kill with no speed and no bonk, what you want to do is hold right, and then right around here do a full jump. Then, once you land, you want to go left onto this first platform, then hold right again, do a jump, and then go in between the egg and the chickbot. And once you land on the second platform, do a full jump and collect the helmet. Then from here, once you land on the third platform, just jump onto the boss's wing and wait for the next cycle, and then jump again, and then you should be able to get the kill. If you want an 8-speed kill with no bonk, what you want to do is store your 8-speed all the way over to the middle of the first platform. Then go left and up and on to the first platform like I explained in the previous kill. From here, what you want to do is jump into the first egg and land on the second platform. Then jump and collect the helmet. On the third platform, jump on the boss's wing and then get the kill. If you want a 13 speed kill with a bonk, what you want to do is jump off of the first platform with 13 speed, and then jump over the second platform and hit the chickbot, and this should land you right on top of that second platform. From here, you can just hold right, jump onto the third platform, collect the helmet, jump onto the boss's wing, and then jump onto its head to get the kill. If you want a 13 speed kill with no bonk, you start the same as the previous kill, but this time, go left off of the second platform and go around that egg, and then you want to land on the third platform and get the kill as usual.
So that is pretty much it for the tutorial. I will leave links for everything in the description and also free example runs. One for sub 630, sub 620, and sub 610. Thank you all so much for watching. Big shout out to Tribit, and goodbye.